rules. Life is full of them. But what if you could ask Jesus himself, what is the most important rule of all? Well, in Mark chapter 12, someone did, and that's the verse of the day.
Oh yeah, it just got interesting.
But first, what's happening here? The religious leaders of that day were trying to trip up Jesus. They didn't believe that he was the Son of God, and they didn't appreciate that he was shaking things up.
What was Jesus shaking up?
That brings us back to those rules.
Everything in these days was about the law.
So many laws.
And when you broke one of these laws, you had to go through a pretty lengthy process to be forgiven. But God had a better way, and that way was Jesus. The Bible tells us that Jesus came to fulfill the law. He came to remove the obstacles to forgiveness by becoming the sacrifice for the sins of the world. Now we can just ask God for forgiveness. Back to what's happening in Mark 12. The religious leaders had been drilling Jesus with questions about laws, and finally someone asked him, okay, what is the most important one of all? That's when Jesus answered, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this, love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these. Oh, Jesus hit him with a two-parter. Love God and love others. Sounds simple, right? But what about all the rules, the commandments? John 14:15 says, if you love God, you will keep his commandments. Yes, absolutely. There are still rules and they are still important. But instead of placing all the importance on rules in this moment, we see God place the importance on loving him, because obedience should be a natural response from us loving God. His laws are not a checklist of how we prove our love. They're meant to be evidence, a natural overflow of his love in our lives. And Jesus puts a giant exclamation point on that here. God is always about our hearts. How we treat other people is a big indication of what's going on inside us. And that's what God's after. When you're all in loving God with your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, you can't help but become more like him, live like him, think like him, see like him, and love others like he loves us.